Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name is Jeremy Baker. With me, of course, as always, Mike Felino. And on this episode, we want to talk about both Kamala Harris's and Donald Trump's recent meetings with Volodymyr Zelensky, president of Ukraine, in regards to what's going on over there with Donald Trump's buddy, Vladimir Putin. And
What buddy?
a couple clips that we're going to show you. And you'll see a distinct difference because, as we've pointed out on a lot of previous episodes, Donald Trump will not say anything even remotely disparaging about Putin.
P-tape.
Why? Even though we can't prove it, allegedly.
P-tape.
Yeah, P-tape.
Well, you know, it's funny. Even while trying to think about it. The meeting, which I thought was weird, actually, it's not unusual for presidential candidates to meet world leaders before the election. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you would think Donald Trump would use the time, I know, to like reassure Zelensky, to lay down his plan to help him and his country survive the Russian invasion. But the guy can't even say one bad thing about Putin. And
no,
like, what did you think he was going to promise Zelensky? What do you think that meeting was like? Well,
right. Not even while talking to the leader of the country that Russia invaded. Will
just be like, I know he's a bit of a dick. I know.
Right. Yeah.
You can't even say that.
He's just misunderstood.
Him and Kim Jong-un, they're just so misunderstood.
Right. Well, yeah, because we all know how much Donald Trump loves his dictators. He idolizes them. He wants to be one.
He does love his dictators.
Turn the United States into a dictatorship with him at the top. It's not a secret. He said it out loud.
Day one, my ass.
Yeah. So first, let me show you how a real leader talks to the press in regards to a massive situation like the Ukraine-Russian war. Here is Kamala Harris.
There are some in my country who would instead force Ukraine to give up large parts of its sovereign territory, who would demand that Ukraine accept neutrality and would require Ukraine to forego security relationships with other nations. These proposals are the same of those of Putin. And let us be clear, they are not proposals for peace. Instead, they are proposals for surrender, which is dangerous and unacceptable. So, President Zelensky, I look forward to our discussion today, and I will continue to work with you to ensure Ukraine prevails in this conflict and remains a free, democratic, and independent nation.
Nice. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Shows support, expresses compassion, reassurance, anything that you could imagine that you would want a leader to portray, not just to her own people, but to one of her allies in need. That's what it was.
I would much rather have her in charge of the situation than Donald Trump, because Donald Trump looks at this as if there's a deal to be made. That's how he looks at everything. Everything is transactional. He wants to give parts of Ukraine to Russia, if not.
Well, you know, maybe just give him that weird part over there with those poor people in it. You know, what's the big deil? You know, everyone gets a little whatever.
Right. Right now, the only thing keeping Russia from going through the rest of Europe is us. Okay. Even though we have no boots on the ground in Russia or in Ukraine.
Nor should we.
Right. Nor should we. Our support is what's keeping Russia in check. Okay.
By the way, Ukraine's not doing a bad job of holding them back. Russia's taken very little territory since their initial advance. In fact, they've lost territory, and the Russians are just like running out of bodies at this point.
Yeah.
That's the power of NATO, to wither a dictator into submission.
Exactly. So imagine, though, if Putin were to have an ally in the United States.
Who would that be?
Right. So the exact opposite would happen. That would give him free reign over. And Donald Trump has said openly that if you don't pay us enough money, he's not going to protect you from Vladimir Putin. He's going to encourage them, he said, to do whatever the hell they want, which is a horrifying concept that if you don't pay the United States, this is not, it's like if you don't bribe me, I'm not going to protect you.
It's a thing everyone understood during the Cold War, okay? Mutually assured destruction. It sucks, but the only way to not have a nuclear holocaust is by making sure you each might use your nuclear weapons against each other. Donald Trump would, in no uncertain terms, guarantee Vladimir Putin that if Putin nuked Ukraine, the United States would not retaliate. If you don't understand the severity of that and how that would absolutely destroy democracy on this planet, go vote for Donald Trump. But if you understand that, please don't vote for Donald Trump.
No, you have a good point, because really the only thing keeping Vladimir Putin from using nukes is the fact that it would have
NATO and the U.S.
wiped Russia off the face of the map.
Because let's face it, their nukes probably wouldn't launch, okay? They haven't paid to upgrade their military since the Cold War because all their oligarchs take the money. So if they have one functioning one and they're dumb enough to shoot it at Ukraine, Russia won't exist anymore. And I'm not saying I'm hoping for a nuclear holocaust, because the people of Russia do not deserve what their garbage dictator is forcing upon them, okay? But the reason Russia's not doing it is because we have a lot more nukes and they actually function.
Exactly. Yeah, we upgrade our stuff.
We sink all of our money into our military. I guarantee you our nukes are bigger than yours.
We do.
If that works for you, if that scares you.
All right, so let's look at what Donald Trump said while standing right next to Zelensky to the press, and you'll see a significant difference in tone and just
intelligence.
Yeah, that too.
I know you're both in a rush. Last question. Will there be another meeting in the near future between you?
Could very well happen, but I think the president said it the best. This is a war that should have never happened. It should have never happened, and it wouldn't have happened. It's a shame, but this is a war that should have never happened, and we'll get it solved. It's a complicated puzzle, very complicated puzzle, but we'll get it solved, and people get on with their lives. Too many people dead.
What?
Too many beautiful cities. I've seen those cities. They're so beautiful, and they, you know, I don't know how you can ever rebuild them the way they were. It's not possible.
You have to come, by the way, to see our city.
I will. It's a beautiful country, beautiful weather.
Was that Zelensky zinging Trump?
There was.
It's a war, and the president agrees. This is a war that should have never happened. Okay, thank you very much.
You really need to come by and see our beautiful cities.
Oh my God, how many times? So his answer to what are you going to do to solve the problem is it's a war that never should have happened. It's a war that never should have happened. Look,
that's it.
We have some important footage or pictures, I think, that really sum up the meetings between Zelensky, Trump, and Harris.
Yeah, picture says 1,000 words.
This is all you got to see. This is the first time they met. I mean, come on. That's the way we look at Trump.
Classic photo.
Like, come on. But now this is highly classified. I'm probably going to be in trouble for showing everyone this. But this is a clip of them meeting Harris and Zelensky. Okay, so so nice to see you again, Madam President. Yeah, not yet, you know, because it's assumed. My fuck, he smells like actual shit. Yep, actual shit. And look, that might have been the way the conversation went. I don't know.
No,
but
we're just
I guarantee you Zelensky appreciated the thoughtful, intellectual conversation and answers about the survival of his country and people that he got from Kamala Harris over the rambling nonsense of Donald Trump. Like, who are you going to back? If you're Zelensky, who are you backing? The fool that like literally has posters of Putin up on his wall, or Kamala Harris?
Right. And I think we pointed out in a previous episode, an ex-KGB agent has come out and said that Donald Trump is literally the perfect Russian asset. And Donald Trump has been promoting Russia since his first trip. Since the 80s. Yep. Since his first trip over there.
He came back from that trip and literally started talking about Russia. Like, no one was like, oh, man, how did you think about your trip to Russia? He just started with the Russia propaganda and never stopped his whole life.
Yep. He's been doing it ever since. So, all right, guys, that's all we have for this episode. Remember, a vote for Donald Trump is a vote for Vladimir Putin to do whatever he wants over in Europe. And then eventually the rest of the world, because there will be no stopping him. Yeah,
Trump would join him
again. Trump would be joining him.
What's the next group that we can say is too weak and bad to exist? Let's wipe them out.
Right.
Then what?
So
Kim Jong-un, you bring him in. Then what? Viktor Orban. When does it stop?
Right. This is a negative outcome situation if Donald Trump gets elected. It really is. There's nobody's going to benefit from it. Not American citizens and nobody in the rest of the world, except for the dictators of the world. They're the only ones that are going to benefit as a result.
Yep.
And then eventually they're going to blow the shit out of each other. And I don't mean that in a sexual way. They're going to blow their asses to smithereens eventually anyways. You know what I mean? Because that's what they do. That's what dictators do. They always want a bigger piece.
They want it.
Right. So again, the only thing keeping them in check, China, North Korea, Russia, is because Donald Trump is nowhere near the White House right now. So we got to make sure that does not happen, because I don't want to see Russian boots on American soil. Call me old fashioned. No, I'm not ready for a Red Dawn scenario. Okay.
No. Simply put, a vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for Ukraine to defend itself.
Right. And the rest of the world to. All right. Again, that's all we have for today's episode. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this clip. You can support our work if you'd like to for a few dollars a month. You can now become a channel member. We'd appreciate it. But again, if not, please just like, subscribe, share the video. That is absolutely free, and we greatly appreciate it. Other than that, we love you guys all. We thank you all for your support over this last year. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.